Hello everyone! In this video, we'll be going over how to install an Embed reader on your arcade games and connect it to the Guru software in your POS. We'll cover wiring and software. So this here is our pretend arcade game. This is a reader tester that I made. Basically, when you swipe a card in the reader, the button lights up, showing that a credit signal came through successfully, and if you hit the button, it will give tickets to the Embed reader, and it's basically the same thing as if your arcade game was giving out tickets, just to show that the ticketing is working on the Embed reader. And here's a 12-volt power supply to power the reader, and the light in here. So basically, as far as the Embed reader knows, this is an arcade game. There's no difference. So we can go over the wiring in here pretty easily. So this here is the harness that comes with an Embed reader. This is what you need to connect it to an arcade game. This button here that allows you to access the test menu in the Embed reader, which is not connected right now. So we'll flip this over. Here I have 12 volts and ground. Just did this really simply so I could connect the power supply like that. But it allows you to see it easier too. So this is the ground wire that would be coming out of the game. This is the 12 volts wire that would be coming out of the game. This is what powers the Embed reader. These wires come from the Embed harness. You have a yellow-black and a black for ground. Black is ground, yellow-black is credit signal ground. And then you have an orange wire coming from the Embed reader harness, and that is 12 volts. And then here, we get the button to light up the light is where the credit signal goes, and the wires from the harness for the credit signal, again yellow black for credit ground, which is not connected here, it doesn't need to be, but orange black is the credit signal that would go to the game. And then over here, to give it the ticket signal, there's a white pink and a blue pink wire. It's kind of hard to see because it's way down in there, but right there, white pink. And again, ground to ground that signal. And that's for, one of them's the notch and one of them is the ticket drive. It's basically, one of them is the game giving out tickets and the other wire is the game receiving a signal that basically tells the ticket came out to check for ticket errors. It's how the game knows if it has a ticket error or not, or if it's out of tickets. But in the case of an Embed reader, it's got to be connected so the game knows the tickets are going out, right? Or it thinks that it's putting out paper tickets. And that's all the wires you need. Other wires are all extra and you don't really need to care about them. Most of the nicely made games, you're not even going to mess with the wiring because they'll come with a UCL connector, which is a universal connector made for arcade games, and sometimes you also have to connect a separate ticket harness, but they're built into the Embed wiring harness, but I had to cut them off for this application. And some games you'll find that you have to cut them off too and connect it to the games manually. Usually the cheaply made games are like that, or sometimes older games, stuff like that. So then, you'll basically screw your Embed reader onto your game using at least 2 of the screws. You need to figure out a way for the holes to line up. They don't always line up. You sometimes have to drill holes or make some kind of cover to attach it. Basically, you want it to be flush like that. So then you're gonna plug this in here. I'm gonna plug it in. Let's pause it for a second. Okay, so we're plugged in now. And if I turn on the power supply, see this lights up. It's starting to boot. And I'll show you where it's at when it finishes booting. Okay, so at this point the reader has finished booting up. If it worked properly, you should see this screen with a red light lighting everything. So next what you're gonna do to ensure the reader has the same starting settings as all the other games in your arcade, you need one of these cards. You tap it to the reader. Oh, I'm sorry. You have to go to the settings menu by hitting this button. Now you tap this to the reader. See, it says contact this configuration applied. This reader's been used already, so it already had that done, but sometimes you have to do that for any new reader or one that hasn't been used in a long time. Also, a lot of times you'll get a software update that takes forever, but this one already is up to date. So you don't really need to do anything in here at this point unless you needed to mess with the ticket settings. Sometimes you'll find the same games that don't have the universal connectors usually, you have to go in the ticket settings. So we go to settings, we go to tickets, we go to emulation. It's out of focus like crazy. Just turn down the light. There we go. You go to Mech 1. You want it to be on dumb DC, but these are the default settings here. And you will change the drive polarity and notch polarity. There's a lot of Chinese-made games where they run on a different standard. It took us forever to figure it out, but this is how you get it to work. And it's not have to rely on paper tickets anymore because they're terrible. Go to active low on the drive polarity, active high on the notch polarity. And that's all you really need to do. But in here, I like to change these settings because the reader will basically take forever counting a large number of tickets, and it can cause issues with the user experience on the games. So I like to make this quicker. Some games also, though, do not tolerate you making these quicker, but I like to take this down to 20 milliseconds. And I like to take this down to roughly 100 milliseconds. Those are completely optional, but it makes it faster at counting tickets. When you do that, it'll still be like that. It's not going to work because we haven't connected it to our POS system, which is coming up next. But now that you're at this red screen, you want to take out your phone or write this down. Either write it down or take out your phone and take a picture of the device ID. And then you're going to move over to your POS system. Okay, so now we're at our POS system. You want to go to the system tab, hit login, type in your password, hit OK. Oh, caps lock is on. My bad, 1 second. Okay, type in your password, hit enter, and we're logged in. Now you're going to go to attractions, games, and readers. You want to go to reader units. You're going to see this screen. All the games that you have assigned will be on this screen, but we're putting in a new game. So you're going to hit edit. Assuming your game is already in your list of games, it'll be in here under the add button. So you're going to do is type in the ID number of your reader, which is, in this case, is SDS 095894, and then you're going to pick a game that is not assigned. And for ease of demonstration, we're going to pick this one because this isn't assigned to anything. Luxury Dolphin number 1. It's a claw machine. Then you're going to hit Add Selection, or Add Selected, and it's gone from this menu. Now, when you go to the Delete tab, it should show up in there. There it is. Like you could get rid of it. But now that we've done that, we hit Close, and our reader is still red. That's not good. Oh, okay. Well, that's crazy. I guess I shouldn't have messed with the ticket. Oh, I know why it's doing that. So remember how I flipped the polarity from the default settings on the tickets? Basically, with the setup, in a normal setup, with the normal games, and default settings on the reader, pushing the button makes tickets happen on the reader. But with this setup, not pushing the buttons makes tickets happen on the reader because the polarity's flipped. And pushing the button makes no tickets happen. So that's why it's doing that. If I let go, tickets. So, put that back in the settings real quick. Tickets, emulation, Mac 1. Switch this back to active high. Switch that back to active low. That's something. Okay, there we go. It stopped counting. That was just residual from when I was in the menus. Okay, there we go. This is the screen that you're looking for. Depending on your arcade, though, it'll have a different logo. But basically, you're going to have any color other than solid red means you're good to go. And now, hitting this button. Okay, so back to the software. 1 second. So, what I wanted to show you next is, see how it says 6 credits here? What if you wanted to change the price of the game? At this arcade, 6 credits is $1.50. A credit is a quarter. So let's say now that we wanted to make it $2 to play the game. Close this. You do game details. Type in your password again. Okay. We're gonna find our newly added game here. Luxury Dolphin. Hit edit. Oops. Edit. And you're gonna see charge group. Merchandise, $1.50, that means it's 6 credits. And it's also a claw machine, so you want it under merchandise. But say we wanted to make it $2. Okay. Go here. Merchandise, $2. Now, save changes. Close. And you can test it by checking in here. Charge groups, you go down to merchandise, $2. Alphabetize the games. And it's here. Now, if we look over here, it's probably still going to say 6 credits. It takes a while for it to change automatically, but you can restart the reader and it'll change after that. So, hold this. Test. Scroll down. Oh, whoops. Not that. Hit restart. Click restart. Sometimes you have to hit it twice, but then it looks like it freezes and it's actually just restarting. So I'll come back to you once it finishes booting up again. Okay, it's finished booting up here. You see it's not red, and it's got 8 credits now, which is $2. And that's what we're looking for. And that should be all you need to know. Just remember those wire colors at the... Just remember those wire colors that we went over before. Definitely try to keep those in your memory for when you need to wire these things up. But if the reader, sometimes the game, you know, if it's already had a reader on it before, all you need to do is swap the reader. You just unplug this, plug a new one in, and it's good to go. Just set it up in the software. And that's it. Have a nice day.